All right, we are finally back working on Whispering Vale. So in our last video, we had started working on the movement, but we were having issues. And I think that was around our starting facing. So recently implemented game movement. And what were those files? It's the gameplay player. Issues with, I think, one of the primary issues with the um, is that when the player is spawned, they are not a known direction. When placing the character start point in the map editor, you should be specifying a card. Specifying spell this morning. Cardinal direction. So west. And ensuring the rotation of the player set to that when spawned. Okay. Let's see. So while Todd's going to work here, I will, at the start here, ask folks, hey, please hit that subscribe button, put a like on the video, give me some comments, what's going on, what you guys are thinking, anything you're finding interesting, anything you want more details on, all of that would be much appreciated. All right, let's see. So in begin play, facing direction is initialized to 0 north, but this happens in the constructor, not when the players actually spawn in the world. In game mode initialized gameplay, when setting the player's grid position, it only sets the position. It doesn't set the facing direction based on the player start actor's rotation. Missing player start integration. The system doesn't read the rotation from the player start actor in the level and apply it to the player's facing direction. All right, proposed solution. Create a custom player start class that stores cardinal direction information. Modify the gameplay game mode to read both position and direction from the player start. Update the player controller to accept an initial facing direction during spawn. Would you like me to implement this solution? Create grid player start class that inherits from player start and has a cardinal direction property. Modify initialize gameplay to find the grid player start and read both position and direction. Okay. Should we update the editor code to store a direction for the player first? All right, so let's have it find the editor editor code. Okay, so I suggest we modify the fmap cell data struct to include a facing direction for the player start. Add cardinal direction enum. Okay, update fmap cell data, update map manager, update editor interface, the editor controller. If you'd like me to make these changes, here's what I cardinal enum, update that. Start. All right. Make those changes. We'll double check them, and then we'll make the updates on the gameplay side and add a test. Okay. Start position, get new player start position. Let's see, add set facing direction method, gameplay player controller, set facing direction. Okay. Now I need to update its instructions. Well, at least it found a problem. It's fixing it before I did. I guess that's an improvement. Oh, man. Although I'd prefer if it didn't just run builds, but I'll update its instructions in the project to tell it that it should just let me deal with the building of the project. No, please. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me jump back here real quick, though. At this project launch, and I'm just going to put it here. There's no need for you to attempt to build the code. You are at a point. Code needs to be built. You should check with the human and have them build it. And they will let you know if there are that be fixed. Okay, and then let's jump back to here. Let's go ahead and check and see if we are compiling. Yeah, we compiled fine. Okay. Back up here. And so now we want to go back to our editor level. And while I'm here, I'm just going to kill that. We don't need that. All right. And our map is test level. The test level, is that what we're using? No, we don't even have one in here. Okay. Oh. Interesting. I thought I had named something else, but maybe not. Let's see. Is that render? Render's just that. That's not what happened to. I had other maps and other levels in there. Oh well. Okay. Let's go back to our editor. Let's make sure that. Is this still compiling? It looks like it. Okay. Well, let's. No, there we go. WBP confirmation dialog. I didn't think we were using the confirmation. Oh, no longer exists. Yeah. Okay. Delete. Delete. Create widget must have a class specified. Yeah, we don't need any of that. Okay. Seems to be working. So this map 1, I want to create a new map. Got our things. Okay. And then we want to select that. I'm going to set that as player start. And then that should give us a test map in there. Test map 1, there it is. Tap into our other maps. Okay, so now we can go back to our level and open up our level test. And our map data asset is test map 1. Go ahead and generate that. We've got that. Player start should now be at that. So now if we run this, are we facing north? We're facing a direction. I don't think it's north. But our rotations seem to be correct. Okay, but our left, rights, and forwards and are okay. Yeah, we're like okay. Yeah, our directional movements not correct at all. Okay. Looks like all of that is working. And our rotations, Q and P, look to be working fine, but WASD are for one, they do not move you in relation to the direction you are facing. And second, the movement doesn't look locked to 90 degrees, so sometimes I'm moving northeast instead of just east. Okay, let's have it look at that. Let's see. Action vector, check spawn. Problem is in the movement interpolation system. The update movement function in grid player pawn is doing smooth interpolation between grid positions, but it's using get safe normal and frame-based movement, which cause diagonal movement if the interpolation isn't perfectly aligned. It's a vector pointing directly from current position to target position, which could be diagonal if there's any floating point precision issues if the positions are perfectly grid aligned. Instead of smooth for a classic dungeon crawler, we should use instant grid-based movement that snaps directly to grid position. Is it? This is more authentic to the old school Bard's Tale experience. Will eliminate the diagonal movement issue. Okay. Well, let's see what that looks like. And see how that feels. But I don't like a jumpy thing. Like at all. So if it feels too jumpy. No, I told you not to build. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, stop. Stop building the code. Updated. Instructions. So that you should always ask me to build the. I will. Okay. Now let's see if we build. You. All right. All good. Jump back here. Let's see if we move. Okay. Forward. Backward. There's still something fundamentally off. So if I hit back, I should be moving east. I'm moving nowhere. If I hit east, I'm moving nowhere. If I hit west, if I move what should move me south? Move. Yeah. So this is moving me. So A moves me east. D moves me west, regardless of the direction I'm facing. W moves me south. And S moves me north. Okay, so it's still fucking wrong. I'm gonna give Claude one more attempt at this, but I'm betting it's not going to understand any of this. We're gonna have to go fix it ourselves. Let's give Claude one more shot at it. Yeah. Okay. Right. Movement is still not correct. We are not moving in relation to the direction we are facing. If I'm standing where I spawned, should be 0, 0. So the northwest corner of the map. Okay. When I spawn, I am facing east. If I rotate, so I'm facing the west wall, W moves me south. S will then move me north. A moves me west, and B moves me east. What it should be is, if I'm facing west, then W should move me west. S move me east. D would move me north, and A would move me south. This should update based on direction I am facing. So if I am facing north, then W would be north, S would be south, A would be west, and B would be east. All right, let's have it one more. All right, the problem is that the WASD movement isn't being mapped correctly relative to the facing direction. Currently, the strafe functions are calculating directions correctly. Forward, backward functions and the input mapping might be mixed up. No, the strafe are not doing it correctly. See what's happening. The issue is in how we're mapping the keyboard inputs to the movement functions. So let me clarify the expected behavior. When facing west, W should move west, S should move east, A should move south, D should, when facing north, W. Verify that W is bound to handle move forward. Wait. Jesus Christ, Claude. Okay. Let's look at player inputs. Yeah, so we have move backward, move forward, move left, move right. Okay, we have W is move forward. S is move backward. A is move. A is move left, and D is move right. There was something else he said in here. Yeah, strafe is not correct. Strafe is not correct. Okay. The way the movement should be coded is that W always moves me in the direction I am facing. S always moves me in the opposite direction I am facing. A moves me to the left relative to the direction I'm facing. And D moves me to the right relative to the direction I'm facing. He should be banned to handle strafe left, handle strafe right. Which it fucking is, Claude. Jesus fucking Christ. It's just that. So A. Oh, no, I want to look at the player. Player. Yes, they are. Facing east, please build the code and test these specific cases. When facing east, your spawn direction does W move you east. Okay. Let's see. When facing east, my spawn direction, which it is, does W move me east? No. W moves me nowhere. When facing north, does W move you north? No. Well. No. W moves me west when I'm facing north. And W moves me north. If I'm facing east, W moves me north. I'm facing north, W moves me west. So looks like we are need to freeze off. Mapping is rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise from what it should be. W should move you east, but it's moving you north. Fix is simple. I need to adjust the get direction vector. Should be rotated 90 degrees clockwise. Build the code and test the movement again. All right, build. All right, I am facing east. I hit W. I move nowhere. I move north. Well, actually, let me go east. That moves me north and south. W do nothing. Fuck. Okay. What are we looking at? Gameplay player controller. Get direction vector. Okay. Let's just take a look at this. Gameplay player controller. Because it's obviously not dealing with set facing direction. Handle move forward. Okay. Move forward based on current facing direction. Get direction vector. Facing direction. All right, let's look at that. All right, so this is where we're doing this. Where north. But see, that's not north. North is 0, 0. Think. East is positive X. South is negative Y. Right, so no. So north is positive Y. That might be reversed. South would then be negative Y. And then west would be negative X. Okay, let's build that. Let's see what that does. All right. Save settings. Okay. All right, let's take a look and understand this. All right, so we're facing what we think is east. Well, we're facing east, but this may not think that we're facing east. If I hit W, okay. Yeah. Okay, those two are reversed. Okay, and we're still never. Okay. So you should be negative and you should be positive. Okay, and then let's see what we're what are you complaining about? Okay. Static. All right. Handle move forward. Okay. But we're getting this based off of this facing direction. Okay. I want to know what that direction is. Okay, and then we're trying to move grid position plus point delta X delta Y. Okay, so we're looking in the map, so we're just getting a new coordinate. Yeah, this is just not gonna work at all. Okay, so that's a new grid position. So we get that cell. If it's walkable, our grid position is now this. We grab our pawn and we move to grid position here. What does move to grid position do? Oh, that's our target grid position. Target world position. Current grid position. Okay, so, all right. So I think I know. I think I got an idea of to here. So the issue is that these are hard coded, right? So north is always north, but it's not. We don't want to be thinking in north, south, east, and west on these directions. In the direction vector, we want to be thinking forward, backwards, left, right. Okay. So the issue is that our that we are dealing with specific directions that change based on direction the player is facing. Well, here, actually, let me do this. Okay. Can you add debug logging to log what direction the code thinks the player is facing when we move? That will help me understand if there is a disconnect is causing the issues. Okay, let's add a debug. I want to see what direction it thinks I'm facing. So if I'm facing east, does it think I'm facing north? Blah, blah, blah. All that kind of thing. And then, oh man. And go from there. You're just adding some log messages. Couldn't be that difficult. All right, let's build that. Tiled hit there. Let's see. That hit. All right. So if I hit W, move forward, facing direction 0, direction vector 0, -1. Warning, try move current position. So if I then rotate, turn to direction 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, all right. I'm just going to pop this over here real quick so I can read that. All right. So, yeah, looks like our directions are when I am facing east, direction is 0. south, when facing south, direction is 1, west direction is 2, and north direction is 3. Okay, so it thinks the problem is in the direction to rotation function in the grid player pawn, which converts numbers to visual rotations. The direction to rotation function is mapping directions to rotations, and this is what's causing the visual direction to not match the logical direction. Your observations, the visual rotations are offset. Well, the visual rotations are... Okay, Claude. You are having problems understanding. Okay, because, all right, I'm going to build this and see if it fixes it, but I can almost guarantee you that this will break if your starting direction that you are facing is not east. But let's see. Thought I had trouble visualizing three-dimensionally. Okay, let's see. So, boom. Well, now I'm not facing... Jesus Christ. What direction am I facing? I'm facing south. Okay, there is a fundamental error in how you are trying to handle movement. So the change you just made causes me to spawn facing south instead of facing north. I don't think the code should be thinking in terms of north, south, east, or west. It should only be thinking in terms of forward, backward, left, and right, and the direction on the X or Y should be determined based on the facing of the player pawn. I'm absolutely right. Overcomplicating this, yes. Purely relative to the player's facing direction. Absolutely. Direction vectors are calculated relative to facing direction. Yes. Rewrite the get direction vector function to be purely relative. Now let me rewrite the movement functions to calculate relative directions properly. Now the system works purely on relative movement. Forward, whatever direction you are facing. Backward, facing direction +2. Okay. Left, facing direction +3. Right, facing direction +1. This is what you're actually... Okay, well, that fucking sounds like you're still making it a little overcomplicated there, Claude. But let's see. All right, I am still facing south, it looks like. Yep. Oh yeah, I'm spawn facing south, but that's okay. So if I hit W, nope, I'm moving left and right. Yeah, so those are all fucking wrong. Okay, now there seems to be an issue in what you think is north versus what I think is north. In the current code, when the player spawns, what direction do you think they are facing? Or let me... This is just going to confuse him more. All right, let me do it this way. Okay. When we are spawning the player, what direction are you spawning them? Are they facing the -X, +X, -Y, or +Y? Okay. Spawns with direction 0, +X direction. The player is being spawned facing +X direction. Okay. Okay. Well, right now, when I spawn, I am facing what I would consider south, which would be in the +Y. So I think we need to make sure we are all on the same page. And I know he's changed this. Yeah. This is not... Let me look at the editor here. What happened to our... What the fuck happened? Did our map go away? Oh, it's got a little out of the way here. Where is... Okay. Same page. Okay. With how the map is rendered, north is negative y, south is positive y, east is positive x, and west is negative x. No. Well, no. Okay. Fucking whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. 0 is north or south or fucking whatever, but Jesus Christ, Claude. At least we're nearly getting to the point where we'll probably actually be making less use of Claude as we start moving forward and start actually building game things. And you know, we kind of have the basics and basis of all of this. All right, I am facing south. If I hit W, do I move south? No. Oh, yes, I am. Okay. Now I'm facing north. If I hit W, do I move north? I do. Okay. And then if I hit east and west, yes, and south. Okay, and I hit here. And I'm moving forward, backward. Kind of hard to tell. Forward, backward, yeah. Okay. But I feel like we're not positioned well inside of the yeah, we are not in the center of the grid. We are in the bottom right corner. Okay. All right, let's have him finish that. Then we'll wrap up this long episode. We're already at an hour here. But I want to try and at least get us positioned in the center of the cell. Okay, that looks to be working. Final issue is that it appears the player is being positioned in the corner of the grid, not in the middle of the cell. So the map manager is positioned 0, 0 in the world. We are in grid 0, 0 0, 0. The map would expect the player pawn to be at location 200, 200. Here's a 400, 400. Grid to world position function. Problem is the position calculation. 400 units, position times 400. 0 plus 200 equals 200, 200, but you're seeing the player 400, 400, or that the offset issue with the calculation is treating grid 0, 0 as if it was grid 1, 1. Let me check what grid cell size is actually set to. Suggest where we might see an issue. Either the player is actually at grid position 1, 1 instead of 0, 0. Build the code and check the debug out. Okay. Build first. Okay. Let's hit it. Boom. Grid to world position, grid 0, 0, world 200, 200, grid size 400, facing direction 0. Okay. But I'm not. That is not in the center of the logs look correct, position of the player still is not. Position of the pawn still does not look correct. It looks as if we are standing on the southeast corner of the cell. This is what is in the logs. Can we log the world location of the air pawn to see if it is at? Okay, and then I'm going to add walls. So we've got like a hallway. And that should help us understand to where we're at. What's this? Okay, perfect. Let's build that. Okay. Ba-do. But before we do this latest test, I want to jump back into the editor. Then I want to load test level 1. Load. Is that what it is? Oh, test map 1. Test map 1. Load. Okay. And then we're going to put a south wall there. South wall there. South wall there. Okay. Stop. Back to our test level and hit it. Okay. And I don't see. Oh, we do. Okay. Okay, no, I'm at 200, 200. Interesting. Okay. So I just needed that wall. I needed that wall to help me. I can spatially understand what I'm doing. And instant movement is fine. I kind of would have preferred the other movement, but that's fine. Okay. No, so we're good. All right, I think maybe adding some lighting, the ability to maybe add some lights or whatnot into this just to give us a little more understanding of what we're looking at. But yeah, no, movement is doing exactly what it should be doing. That's cool. Okay, I'm down. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I was just seeing that. Okay. Perfect. All right. Yeah, once again, subscribe, like, comment, share, please. Sitting at 4 subscribers, 3 of which are friends and family. So, would love to kind of get this in front of more people. I think it's gonna, we're very close to being at the point where we're gonna start getting some funner stuff in here. But you gotta put in your hours getting the base getting your base system set up, and this is certainly it's certainly been less time consuming to do that with Claude. So overall, I'm relatively happy with how all this has gone. All right, thanks all, and we'll see you next time.